O ke mihi e rapu hi a whae te uru tapu nui a tānei. Tānei te waiora, tānei te wānaka, tānei te tukuraki. Puta ki te whai ao ki te ao marama. Tū te kana, tū te maraka, te tūhi ki te raki. E roko i te matāra nei. E roko whakiiri aki ki runga ki a tīna. Tīna, haumi e, hui e, tai.
There's a real thing about Boffa people. If you did a profile on us, we'd all be quite similar in a way. I think we have very similar values. We all care about the land and the outputs of what we're doing. And I think we're all very strong in terms of our professional ethics.
Boffa Miskell as a company has changed quite a lot, starting out as just as landscape architects, you know, bringing a new type of consultancy landscape architecture to New Zealand, then really pushing for the profession to have a professional body and, you know, be professional on a kind of world stage. And then, you know, we went through and now we're going to become ecologists as well, and that was quite a radical shift. And then planners as well as that, and then that sort of played into the whole resource management area. And then I think, you know, we then have refocused again on design and being the best built project designers that we can be.
The advantage I saw with the company is that you've got the instigators of the design. You know, you've got those people that have dreamed up the master plan, that have conceived it, that are there to tell you the story. So you're close at hand, you know, you're working with them side by side, and that's not a very common opportunity for a planner.
Creativity has always been a core value of the company as well. And the planners, you know, so you don't necessarily just have to have a pen in your hand drawing a beautiful plan to actually introduce creativity. You can actually think about creative ways of influencing the consenting authority. We expect planners and ecologists to be creative people as well as the designers.
Boffa Miskell, when new jobs coming in, everybody really gets to see what they are, and there's an opportunity for people to raise concerns right from the very beginning about projects. And so again, it's part of that sort of transparency within the business, and the ability to challenge is quite strong.
And I think that's the key strength, to understand how a goal can be achieved in the context of the legislation or the ecological values or the landscape values without making life difficult for the developer, but actually helping them to reshape it in a way that still leads to a satisfying outcome.
Yep, that's it, in a nutshell.
Design companies can get too involved in the cult of the individual designer and the name associated with that. Boffa Miskell, we seek a more holistic approach. We actually seek what is the best outcome for the project, what's the best outcome for the brief, and what's the best outcome for the people that will use that project and the community that hosts that project as well.
The key part of the working on the wall was to get the process right. It wasn't about us designing a wall, it was about engaging with iwi in a way that was meaningful and gave them buy-in, but also an expression of te Atiawatanga, an expression of them in the built environment.
Within Boffa Miskell, we work with the landscape architects, the landscape planners, urban designers, and then outside Boffa Miskell we worked with stormwater engineers and the civil engineers. So we all fed into that combined picture of what we wanted to have.
From a landscape perspective, it's a very understandable thing, a river, and so us creating greenways and ecological infrastructure that relates to those systems, you know, it's a real way for us to involve landscape very strongly in our urban frameworks, and it's a lot of fun. And so we've worked with the community in Mana Whenua in particular to restore very much naturalised systems as opposed to engineered systems. And people immediately, you know, are reawakened to their natural heritage and to the values of these streams.
The thing that sets Boffa Miskell a little bit differently is personality of the key people. It's not just the technical thing, it's been quite smart in understanding how to work with, you know, the sort of political and office environment.
The council ran this Share an Idea. It was a weekend where you could go along and put forward your ideas about what you'd want the central city of Christchurch to look like in the future. People continue to talk about that event as informing different thinking on whether it was the blueprint or documents that have happened since then. always referring back to, well, what did the community say about what they wanted? So 6 years later, we're still talking about, well, people wanted this and they wanted a greener city, they wanted better connection to the river and, you know, all those things.
Oh, there's an eel. Told him.
The Avon overall, it's getting better. It's quite exciting to catch big eels like that. So that species in particular is at risk and declining. So when you find species like that in these waterways, it gives a really good indication that ecological health is really good.
After the earthquake occurred, the Canterbury earthquakes, from a professional perspective, it was amazing times because you know, we did get a chance to look at all the problems that the city had before, but equally have a chance to bring in other sort of more modern values. A lot of sustainability is about using intensive, compact communities in order to maximise energy efficiency and utilise our land resource.
There are universal things that are the challenges that all cities have to face, and there's some, you know, well accepted and proven ways of doing those things, and they might be, you know, the sort of things that we're only just starting to face in New Zealand cities around housing affordability, housing choice, how you deal with some difficult social issues. So looking overseas is more and more relevant to our cities in terms of how you deal with those things that we might not have had to have dealt with in the same way.
Papa tua nu kurangi